The chickens have come home to roost, as they say. We're not talking about chickens here. We're talking about our deeds, the things that we have known we need to stop allowing and stop doing and stop glamorizing. Um, these things have created a curse upon us that we have created, America and the world, but I'm talking about America because this is where I live and my first responsibility is here. I grew up in an era where um, I'm of the hip hop generation. I'm a '70s baby, and I got into music. Music was fun. My favorite rap song of all time is "The Message," and if you go back and listen to that song, it's warning us about things that we ought not be a part of. But they say rap is bad. Well, rap actually had a lot of great content. The Bridge, MC Shan is another one. Slick Rick's Hey Young World. Um, the Self Destruction song. So many rappers that were involved in that to stop the violence movement. But then we ventured into an age in the 90s where we were starting to want violence and alcoholism and drug addiction to be a cool thing. And I think we started trying to venture away from that, but then it became the cool thing again. And what has happened is that through the media, entertainment, and music, we have, and when I say we, I mean my people. Um, at one time, I was a part of this because I was victimized by the messages and I was a carrier of them at one time. So I'm not judging anybody, but I'm stating facts. We get caught up in that stuff and we tend to share that with the next generation and look at them. They're this is the most confused generation probably that I've seen since I've been alive. They have zero direction, um, no respect for authority, for who they are. They don't really care about their culture, their history, their people. There are no rules. I'm from Baltimore. It was bad when I was growing up, but now it appears to be even worse because there's not even any code in the streets. It's a free for all. So everything is in a disarray. We didn't want leadership, so we took um, we the kids have developed this mind state that I'll be who I want to be. You can't tell me anything. But it started with us because we put God out of everything. We didn't want any authority. We didn't want to read the Bible anymore. We didn't want direction. We didn't want rules. So this is what we have. Now we have these entertainers that have in this rap music. And I'm not just bashing rap, but it's primarily within rap, the lyrical content that glamorizes substance abuse. And the CDC has estimated that 2 million people are addicted to or have abused prescription drugs and street drugs. And I think that that's a low number. I'm just guessing, but I don't think that's a real number. I believe it's much higher than that because so much stuff flies under the radar. It's not reported. For instance, if I'm in my home right now abusing drugs, it's not going to be reported, so I'm not a part of that number. So imagine how many millions of people are not reported. It's a huge, huge problem. Huge problem. Um, you have people in entertainment that have passed on, and we swept it under the rug. But they've died at young ages of complications to their lifestyle, abusing drugs and alcohol. And I'm not going to name their names. I'm not even going to name the names of some of these guys out now who are making what they call music, but to me it's trash. It's garbage. It's not music. It's a means to get across a devastating, deadly message. And then in some of the music, you hear these guys crying out for help and nobody's really listening. They just think it's music. It's just lyrics. It's just entertainment. Nah, but I can name a few people who have cried out for help and nobody listened. But this is where we are, y'all. Um, I saw something very disturbing the other day. Is an entertainer, uh, person making what they call music, that trash. And you know, he escalated the substance abuse to a level that is just incredibly insane. Now I don't know if it was true what he did, but just to post an image of injecting something into your veins that you that is widely used and talked about as a drink. Um, but the post showed him saying that it wasn't enough to drink it. He needed to get it in his system faster and harder. You got rappers dying left and right, um, and they're depressed. They're taking these drugs because they're depressed. They don't have God in their lives. They don't believe in Jesus. They don't read about him. They don't study him. They don't study his format for the way we're supposed to live and treat one another. So they're lost. The book of Romans in the Bible, it elaborates on the consequences of rejecting God. And it talks about a reprobate. And when you get into that mind state of being a reprobate, you separate yourself completely from God. And he allows you at some point to just be led by your own devices, and you apply the curse to yourself and to your offspring and to the generations behind you. And that's exactly what we're seeing. The chickens have come home to roost. The repeated rejection of God and us leading ourselves with our own devices and our own man-made thoughts, not wanting rules, um, not wanting authority, not wanting to follow anyone, wanting to be self-expressive, free, so we call it, has led us to being completely destroyed. And it can get a lot worse, but I think we're already pretty much destroyed. After destruction becomes complete death. If we don't do something to change what's happening, that's where we're headed as a country and as a world. Um, it's sad. It's sad. It's really, really sad. And I'm listening to some of the stuff. I work with kids all week long. And I asked them to let me hear what you're listening to and some of the vulgarity. And like I said, I was in street music at one time. I turned my life over to Christ in 2005. Um, so I can't rebuke people and pretend that I don't understand. I do understand. But what we need is leadership, and we're lacking that now. You know, I was saved because there were people who continued to pray for me and guide me the right way. If we don't have enough of that, what is going to happen to the generations coming up? And I thank God for the people who continue to work with me and pray for me and to tell me about the error of my ways, which I'm willing to do for the young people around me. And some of them really appreciate it. People, if you're listening to this, please, if you're not doing it already, grab hold of somebody and lead them the right way. The only way we can counter bad is to give them good. Simple as that. Simple as that. We can't sit at home and complain about it without doing something to counter it. Give them some good. Give them some good advice, some good knowledge. Lead them. Show them by example that we can do better. My job, I make music. I try to make music that is an inspirational in a positive way that leads people to Christ, leads people to a better way of living. That's my counter. And then I talk to people. That's my counter to what they're experiencing out there. Now, of course, you got the bad guys with the bad message. They get millions and millions and millions of views. I only get a few. But out of that few, maybe I'll reach a few people that'll reach a few more and a few more and a few more. And we can snowball it. But if you all are doing the same thing, guess what, man? We can overshadow this evil with good. So I hope y'all will subscribe to my channel. Continue to network with me. Let's iron sharpens iron. Let's keep encouraging one another. And let's put more good out there to try to counter all this bad. I mean, it's enough to complain about it. We know it's there. It's destructive. People are dying. But let's do something about it. Peace. God bless.